Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Thank you guys so much for joining us. A lot to talk about here today on a Tuesday, a Monday Night Football game to talk about. A lot of football the weekend, record-setting night at United Township last night. A lot to get to. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for the patience. No show yesterday. Anybody that listened to me on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday knew that I was grinding, especially on the radio on Saturday and our post show on Saturday as well. So took yesterday off. Sunday was miserable. Yesterday a little better. Today it's there. The voice is okay. We're getting there. So a busy week for myself and in the Quad Cities this week as well. So and in the state of Iowa and Illinois, a lot going on. So a lot to talk about. Thank you again for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Continue to do that. Make sure you're subscribed as well. And then tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day around 10 o'clock, talking sports and a little bit more, as always, as well. We are live on X. X has been very, very good to us, so check us out on X as well. And then, of course, you can check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. So an audio version of the show gets out to everybody every single day. Spotify, Apple, Podbean, you name it, we should be on it. So go check us out on those as well. As I mentioned, there was a Monday Night Football game to get to. Boy, a lot of opinions when it comes to that. We'll get to that in a second. And later in the show, we'll talk a little bit more about it as well. So week one of the NFL, as entertaining as ever. My Lions laid an egg. We'll talk about that as well. So much to get to when it comes to the NFL itself. But a little closer to home, a little more local. It was Cy-Hawk week. We had a post show on Saturday. It was Iowa State beating Iowa 16-13. Joining us, as he always does, to start our week is the one and only Pat Anger. And we chat a little bit about, just Iowa moving on. And then, of course, up next is probably a record-setting special night for Kirk Ferentz, a guy that's unjustly getting some heat right now, in my opinion. So we'll talk with Pat Anger about all of that coming up in a matter of moments. Also, I called a buddy that we can, kind of talk a bunch of stuff about because high school football week 2 was awesome. One of the best finishes at a new look Browning Field. Moline winning in overtime, stopping a 2-point conversion to come away with a victory. So Mike Morrissey will join us to talk about Moline football. But also, if you guys didn't know, if you hadn't heard, Illinois is ranked number 9 in the country. Cole Rusk catching touchdowns, and Matthew Bailey making big plays. So we'll talk to Mike Morrissey about especially Matthew Bailey, his former player, and just the progress that he's made and continues to just thrive on and off the field. So a bunch to get to with Mike Morrissey coming up later on here in hour number 1. Around around 11, I'm guessing, about the midway point. We're going to talk a little soccer. It was a historic night at UT, and it was a great story to tell because Brodie King becomes the school's all-time leading scorer, and he passes his head coach and his dad at the same time. So it was really cool. We'll be joined by both Brodie King and Mooch King coming up in just a little bit. Really excited about that. And then also we'll dissect the NFL as well. John Marx will join me. We'll talk about the Bears, give you my thoughts and my opinions. I know Bears fans probably don't want to hear them, but a mixed bag for the Bears last night as well. And that's kind of where we'll start a little bit. Bears led 17-6 going to the fourth quarter. They get outscored 21-7 the rest of the way, losing 27-24. Caleb Williams came out looking great. 6 for 6 on the first drive, a rushing touchdown. You figured that would happen. Ben Johnson will script up 15 perfect plays. They ran them well. Bears scored a touchdown early. And then the offense kind of was and that's my whole thought process with Caleb Williams is Ben is about completions and preciseness and precision. It wasn't there last night. Missed too many wide open throws, good throws, and the Bears left the Vikings hanging around. And in the process, the Vikings come back, and J.J. McCarthy, who looked awful for 3 quarters, looked amazing in the fourth quarter and led his team back to victory. And that's a signature victory in his first start that I don't know Caleb Williams gave the Bears at all last year. And that's the kind of stuff I look for. Not giving up on Caleb. The jury's still out, all that kind of stuff. It's one game. I know the overreactions are a lot, especially for my Lions. We'll get to those in a little bit. But Vikings get a big victory on the road. Bears reeling a little bit today. If you're a Bears fan, you're watching on YouTube, chime in on the chat as well. We'll chat a little bit about the Bears throughout the day right here, and also the rest of the NFL. Packers looked great. I'll tell you this, boy, the Lions and Ben Johnson kind of need each other. If we can redo that, you want to send them back, that'd be great. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So we'll talk a little NFL coming up a little later in the show, but wanted to touch on the Bears off the top. A disappointing night, to say the least. We'll get to the decisions of Ben Johnson as well. Offensive mind, obviously really good. Made some iffy decisions. The 4th and 3 was not one of them. Get ready for that, Bears fans. 4th and 3, inside your 25, touchdowns win football games. Execute, make the play, gain 3 yards, go score a touchdown. It's the mindset that the Lions had for 2 years, 3 years, that the Bears got to get used to, and they got to execute, plain and simple. So when it comes to college football, there's a brand new top 25 before we start talking with Pat Anger and everyone else. And there you have it. There's the Fighting Illini at number 9 in the country. They go on the road to Duke. We talked about it on the postgame show. Impressive 45-19 victory, dominated the second half especially. They're up inside the top 10. I will note that their game in 2 weeks or a week and a half, whatever it is now, at number 22 Indiana will be in primetime. So that will be a big game for Brett Bielema and company going on the road to a hostile environment. Illinois, Indiana, and it's not a basketball game, and everybody's talking about it. That should be big as well. And then there's Iowa State, sitting at number 14 in the AP Top 25, moving up a notch, maybe 2 notches, I can't remember, from last week, after their victory over Iowa, 16-13, the final on that one. A good football game. And Iowa fans have a lot to question, but the bottom line is they lost on the road to a top 15 team by 3, and the ball didn't bounce their way. It just didn't. And obviously the fourth quarter double deflected pass or whatever it was, a big moment in that game as well. So without further ado, let's get our week started off in style. And we chatted with Pat Anger last night out on his porch, so you can hear the crickets and the chirping and all that kind of stuff as well. So join us now on a Tuesday, first show of the week. We got to lead off with Pat Anger. How was your weekend?
Well, I mean, it could have been better, but yeah, watch some football. So, yeah, it's all right.
All right, I gotta start with you. Why is everybody? Can't people just calm down a little bit? Is the sky falling? Is the sky falling?
People can't calm down. It's called fans is short for fanatics, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And that's fair. But yeah, I mean, honestly, and we talked. I'm more optimistic after this game than I was after the first one. I mean, we played a 16th ranked team, probably going to be higher than that this week, to 3 points at their place in a tough environment, really tough environment. I thought we did a lot of really, really good things. Once again, very impressed with our offensive line. Really good. Our run game, great. I thought Mark made some really good plays with his legs as well. Showed some good leadership against a really tough defense. One of the toughest defenses we'll play all year. And I thought our defense did great too. Held them to 16 points. Just a couple plays here and there. There were some times we shot ourselves in the foot. We shot ourselves in the foot early on. Had a slow start again. But I'm really optimistic about this team. I like this group of guys, and I think they're going to do a lot of really good things.
I'm trying to be nice, and I'm not trying to make Iowa State fans mad. And they're a good program, really good program, and Matt Campbell's a really good coach. So this is with full respect. Is it still that Iowa fans have kind of that big brother mentality that, like, you're not supposed to lose to that team? Is that because if you would have changed the uniform, change it to Michigan or, Penn State ranked 14th in the country and you go to Penn State and play. Like, I don't think it's the way it is right now, is it?
Well, I think you're kind of right. I mean, I don't think people understand that Iowa State is a good football team, and obviously it's early. We'll see how they end up, but they're solid. They're very well coached. Their kids play extremely hard. They've got a very, very tricky defense to go against, and offensively, they can do a lot of really good things. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a lot of speed and size at their receivers, and their tight ends are not only good blockers, but they're big, huge pass catchers as well too. And we saw that. And I thought our guys played valiantly, and I think this Iowa team, has a lot of promise. They've got a lot of really good things that they're going to do this year that Iowa fans are going to be really proud of.
You look at the start of the game, and it wasn't good, and then Iowa just asserted their dominance. I mean, through the end of the second quarter, all the way through the third into the fourth, like Iowa was the better team, and they were wearing the Cyclones down. We go back to 2009. We like to because it's, what do you call it? The greatest team ever.
Greatest team of all time.
Okay, there you go. So that first game, y'all could have lost. The bounces went your way. In Ames, that's the weirdest, craziest, twice tipped reception I've ever seen. If that doesn't happen, Pat, I know ifs and buts. I get all that, but like the ball didn't bounce. It just didn't bounce Iowa's way when they needed to the most.
Yeah, and that's that's life. Sometimes it'll happen. But our guys still, they still, after that tip, they still battled. And was the tip ball, was that before they went for it on third down or fourth down? And
so they went for
release?
Yeah, well, got that drive started. If not, it's like Iowa getting the ball back with like 6 minutes to go and being able to run the football, tie game, all that kind of stuff. I get it. And the ball bounced Iowa ways sometimes as well. What was the call on that play? I meant to go look it up from Dolph, but that was just, it looked like it was an interception. Then if anything, it's a punt. Next thing you know, Iowa State's celebrating a first down.
Yeah, I've learned to let those plays kind of go through and let Dolph do his thing before I'm like, getting excited, because I probably internally was very excited when that ball got tipped in the air that we were going to tip it. But guys made a play, and hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I made a career out of being more lucky than good.
Yeah, that's true. Pat Anger joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Pat, the defense played really, really, really good. Can you talk more about that? Because, Caleb Weigent slips, or that's not an interception. I'm not making excuses, so Iowa State fans don't get mad. But besides a shortened field and a touchdown there, 3 field goals, and they didn't really move the ball. If you would have gave me Rocco Becht stats at the beginning of the day, I would have loved the Hawkeyes' chances. What did you like about the defense? What did you see in that defense that made them so good on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I guess going back to Rocco's stats, obviously he had more yards. What do you have, 30 more yards or 40 more yards than Mark? But very similar stats. And one guy, hey, he's the greatest quarterback in the world, and the other guy, everybody's talking down on. Very similar stat. And really, Mark made the right read on the interception. It was just guy slipped, and hey, that happens.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I thought our defense did a good job of not letting them get outside. I thought they thought they had a mismatch with our corners. Specifically, they thought they had a mismatch with TJ Hall, and they went at him many times. And TJ Hall bowed up, made plays. Intringer made a really good play coming over the top in that cover one when they went on that go route and jarred that ball out. That was a huge third down play. Linebackers played well, played downhill. Our DNs, they contained them. And they had some plays too. You know, they had some tricky stuff. They did a good job using both those running backs. What was it? Henson? Is Henson the bigger guy? And then you've got Sama. Yeah. Henson, man, for as big as he is, gosh, he's got some wheels. And they did a good job trying to get him to the outside with some swing passes and stuff like that. I thought, you know, there were sometimes, obviously, we had some missed tackles. Got to wrap up. But for the most part, I was pleased. You hold that Iowa State team to 16 points. Solid. Yeah. It's a solid day.
No, absolutely. Pat Anger joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I want to talk about this week, so I don't want to dwell on Iowa State, but we do have to address the problem. And yeah, are you can Iowa win with you in the booth against Iowa State? And do you feel somewhat responsible? Have you talked to Kirk about it? Has he kind of addressed you about it as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we're going to have to deal with, obviously, really, really think about in the off season. And if I continue to be an issue and continue to be bad luck in the booth against Iowa State, then we might have to get a replacement.
Never.
And that's just, you know, it is what it is. I'll bite the bullet there.
Yeah, won't happen. Never will happen. The frustrating stuff, and you mentioned being fans, is there's some vocal frustration at the head coach. And he's getting ready to do something on Saturday that is just an amazing feat. So before we talk about the record and UMass and all that kind of stuff, do you chuckle when you, and I know you don't live on social media, and thank goodness you don't, when you see the criticisms of Kirk Ferentz and what that guy's done with this university, and you lose by 3 on the road to your ranked state rival, and it's like, get rid of the head coach. I mean, it's silly, isn't it?
No, 100%. But also too, I mean, that's what people do, and it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think people understand how good we have it with Coach Ferentz. He's literally the greatest to ever do it. What he does with what he has is unfreaking believable. It's amazing. And I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, is it's best thing about it, it's not about your 4 years there at Iowa. It's about it's about the rest of your life. And he's going to bring out the absolute best in you. He's going to hold you accountable. He's creating not only good football players, but good humans. Obviously, sometimes depending on the day, some people would say I'm not. But, you know, the one thing about Coach, too, is like, if I'm going through something, like if something happens tonight, I call Coach. Like, he's going to answer, and he's going to do whatever he can for me. I played there. I graduated in 2009, you know, like I'm nobody. And he would do that for every single person that played for him. And the one thing, obviously, as a player and currently right now, they're not listening to any of it either. Because really at the end of the day, the only people that matter are the people in that building. And that's it. And that's how they should do it. Because at the end of the day, when you're going through crap and life is down 20 years down the road and life is kicking you in the butt, who you're going to pick up the phone and call? You're going to call your teammates, you're going to call your coaches, and they're the ones that are going to bend over backwards for you and have your back. And this group is a group that's really tight-knit, and it's a group that's together. And they're going to – like, this is nothing. They are going to freaking dominate. They're going to have such a great year. And two, and I don't even want to say adversity. Like, this isn't adversity. Like, people are going to say, oh, he's going through adversity. Like, I don't even want to say that, but, like, who handles adversity better than Coach Ferentz? Who gathers a group better than Coach Ferentz and pushes them forward to do things that a lot of people don't think they're capable of? So yeah, like it's extremely laughable, and obviously it does kind of make you mad too when people makes you really mad when people talk bad on Coach because they have no freaking idea the man he is and how good we have it. No idea. Yeah.
Well said, Pat Anger joining me right now. I want to talk more about that guy because you kind of encapsulated pretty well, but it is going to be, and I'm not trying to put cart ahead of horse, and we'll talk more about the record next week. If he gets it, I'm predicting that he gets it. When you look at that guy, what comes to your mind when I know what he means to you, but do you have a Kirk Ferentz moment that pops into your head when it comes to what he's done, a moment playing for him, a moment after he plays for him? So for me, it's not, and I didn't play for him. I know that surprises you, but I didn't play for him. Didn't play for anybody. Was the way he was available for Brett. And like, I did that a couple stories with Brett, and I did one, and like the way he's, you know, and seeing what it means, what Brett means to him and those kind of things. Take it off the field for us. Is there a moment with Kirk Ferentz that you can tell us about or talk about?
I mean, there was a time when I was going through like a really tough time in my career, and I wasn't playing, and kind of down. Life wasn't great. It was my sophomore year, and everybody was playing over me, and I had an opportunity to play, and I wasn't there yet. I wasn't mature enough yet, and he just brought me in the office and just said, "Hey, I love you. I'm not throwing dirt on you, but you've got to do these things to change." And there's a lot of people that probably would have, a lot of coaches that would have cut me. They would have said, "All right, get the hell out of here." But he believed in me and stuck with me. One of the things too, we were doing when the floods hit in Cedar Rapids in 2008, we were doing, part of our leadership committee, we were doing a cleanup in downtown Cedar Rapids. And it was a summer day. It was like super hot. And there was, I don't know, 8 or 12 of us, something like that. And we're tearing, I think they wanted us to kind of gut some of these houses. So we're tearing through these houses with hammers and working hard, sweating our ass off. And Coach Ferentz is right there freaking with us. And a news crew showed up, and they want to do this story. And Ferentz is like, "No, really appreciate you guys coming, but sorry, that's not why we're here. We're here because we're trying to help. We're trying to do the right thing." And so many people nowadays, they do stuff just for the story. They do stuff just for the news. They do stuff just for the clout. Like, that's not Coach Ferentz. Never made it about himself, ever. And that's probably why he's going to struggle so hard when he breaks this record, is because he's going to get attention. And he deserves the attention, because Iowa football would be nowhere near where it is, Coach Ferentz. Not even close to the success that they've had without Coach Ferentz. And every success that all these guys have, from being fathers to being in the business to being in the NFL, it's all due to Coach. It's due to his leadership.
And being in the media as well. The media, Pat Anger joining right now. Yeah. UMass coming up this weekend. That's going to be the overriding story. I know you probably haven't done your homework yet. Iowa big favorites. What do you want to see on Saturday? Like, what do you think fans, what do you want to see when it comes to the product on the field at 6:30 on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, probably the coaches too, they probably want to see a fast start. They probably want to see execution from start to finish. They want to see guys flying around, doing their job, playing Iowa football. And it's as basic as that.
No, 100%. It's funny. I had somebody ask me, Pat, I said, "Why don't you ever talk to Pat about youth baseball anymore?" And I said, well, because we actually have stuff to talk about now when it comes to football. So we don't have to talk about dumb stuff, but going a little dumb stuff, going up to Ames, and don't, I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but besides the game, that's a fun week. And you're in Des Moines, wherever, Ankeny, all that kind of stuff. Corey was your bodyguard the whole time, making sure you stayed out of trouble. How was the week, and just going back to Ames and checking out a game, and what stood out? Is there anything fun you can tell us about without getting yourself in too much trouble?
So we had an event with the foundation Thursday night at Big Grove.
Big Grove's
got to
great.
see a lot of Hawk fans. Oh, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
I love them.
It's really good.
And speaking of Big Grove, we always go to the one in Des Moines during baseball, and we always go to the one in Iowa City during baseball as well. And we're up there, so I love Big Grove.
Yeah.
And then got to see a lot of Iowa fans. And then Thursday went and set up. The one thing, there were some issues with the internet Thursday, and everybody from Iowa State bent over backwards and helped us. I thought they were extremely generous and great. We've never had this happen before. When we got done with our post-game show and packed up and everything, they were down there waiting for us with a golf cart to help us to carry the stuff to the truck, which No one's ever done that before. So much respect to them and how they treat their visitor radio staff. I was very impressed.
So you're ready to go out to the parking lot and just beat everybody up, and then they're nice to you, and you can't do that.
No, well, honestly, I was kind of still ready for that. I respected it, but yeah, I'm just glad nobody said anything on the way out because it probably wasn't going to go well.
And we got to back up just for a second. What's this we stuff? Will you stop acting like you pack stuff up and like you know damn well that Corey Sheets does all the work and you're just hanging out, flipping through your phone, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
Well done.
Corey packed everything up and I pushed it to the elevator. Some of the stuff to the elevator.
See,
so,
that's the team I love. That's the team I love. It's the best. Game this week, 6:30 is the kickoff. We'll be on the air with the Hawkeye Tailgate Show with a better voice this week. How bad did I sound? It was pretty bad, wasn't it?
I didn't listen, but I thought you sounded great.
You were on it. You were on the show. You can't say you didn't listen. You were on it. Although I heard you had I'm talking to Corey on Monday. He's like, yeah, Pat was short because he was coughing during the interview, like, and all that stuff. And he's feeling bad for you because you choked on some water or something. I'm like, I'm doing an hour show without a voice. And Corey's like, yeah, Pat was a trooper. He really stuck it through that interview. I'm like,
I felt bad for you. I felt terrible for you because you kept asking questions, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a good game, man. It's going to be really good.
I was wondering if it was something I did.
Thing. I think I said the same thing like 3 times. I felt terrible for you. It was literally the only time I coughed all day.
You got to make it up this week. So this week we'll have Inside the Huddle. We'll have yourself. We'll have the honorary captain. We got the press box perspective. We're rocking and rolling early. You should listen every once in a while.
I do. I sit up there in the booth and I listen to you and I figure out, all right, what's going to happen in this game? Let him Matt, and then you're usually pretty spot on.
No, what you do is you call me afterwards and scare the crap out of me, but that's for another day. That's for another day. So, Patrick, I appreciate it as always. Enjoy the week. Let's get a victory this weekend. I'll see you Saturday up at Kinnick Stadium. I appreciate you.
Love you, buddy. Go Hawks.
Right. See you, pal. That is the one and only Pat Anger joining us right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. It's Iowa looking to get back on track against UMass coming up at 6:30 on Saturday night. Obviously, that main storyline. With a victory, Kirk Ferentz will become the Big Ten's winningest coach all time. I know Iowa fans wanted this week against Iowa State. Didn't happen, but I think they'll jump back and get back on track as well. We got more to get to coming up after the break. I'm going to be joined by somebody that I need to talk to several things about. It was an awesome Friday night for Moline Football. Thrilling victory at home. And then on Saturday, they watched their own Matthew Bailey make big plays, and Illinois gets a big victory. So we'll talk to Mike Morrissey about both Matthew Bailey and the Illini and his Moline Maroons. So all that and much more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. It was a sensational week 2 of high school football. So many great finishes, exciting finishes on both sides of the river. But probably the most exciting happened at Browning Field. It was Moline forcing overtime late, getting a touchdown late, tying it at 14. They go for it, or they get the ball first, get the touchdown, get the point after. They're up 21-14. Sycamore scores, and they go for 2 to try to win the game. And courtesy of QC Sportsnet and Grant Dahlstrom, who I've known since he was like 5, here's how it looked and how it sounded at Browning Field.
Receiver left. Larson under center. The snap. The give. He's close. He is not in. Not in. Moline wins.
So great. And joining us now, the head coach of the Moline Maroons, Mike Morrissey. I got a lot to talk to you about, young man. First and foremost, congratulations. Just the way you drew it up, right?
Yeah, exactly how we thought it would go. And obviously it's pretty cool when you have, Grant, who's a classmate of all of those kids on the field, being able to kind of bring the energy and bring the call to kind of finish that thing off. It was a heck of an atmosphere on a Friday night, and something we're super proud of, and excited that our community could come out and be a part of, obviously, the ribbon cutting and all the stuff with the field, but then to see our kids kind of persevere through some adversity throughout the course of the night and come out on top. It was pretty neat.
All the stuff with the field. You guys got a new field? I hadn't heard.
Yeah,
no
right?
way. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
I'm
my
going to talk
gosh.
to you about that in a second.
I'll invite you out sometime.
I got to see it firsthand. Actually, I went past it. It looks great. But you knew it was going to be a battle. Sycamore is a really good football team. And talk about your guys, because you're down 14-7 late in the game. The offense hasn't, set the world on fire. And you got a sophomore quarterback that stepped up in some of the biggest situations. First, before we get to that, defensive stand, getting to overtime and then continuing to play well in overtime. You got to be proud of your guys.
Yeah, I think that was a big moment for us, offensively especially, only because we'd had that same opportunity the week before down at Summit when we were down, an opportunity to drive down and potentially win the game, and we didn't. So for those guys to kind of compose themselves, honestly, continue to be confident. I think we ran a total of like 38 offensive plays the whole night. So we really didn't have a lot of production offensively at all. And the confidence on their face and how they carried themselves in that last drive, Kaysen making some really, really clutch throws, guys making big time plays down the field, and then finally getting some sort of resemblance of a run game there at the very end with Mark Carey and Eli Warren to be able to punch it in. That was big, and then the excitement on the sidelines and to see these guys that, have contributed in some way, shape, or form throughout the course of the week, whether it be scout team players or special team players, like their energy and excitement on the sidelines was amazing. Like I was almost like captivated by watching them as I went back and watched the film later that night. Like I'm watching Max Lamphere on the sidelines, who's on kickoff for us and is a scout team guy for the most part throughout the course of the week. He's just going crazy, and it's like that. It's special when it means a lot to those kids, and it means a lot to everybody. It just it was a pretty big time moment for us as a program and as a team really early in the season.
Absolutely. Mike Morrissey joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You go to overtime, you do your job, get a touchdown, extra point. They score. It goes down to that 2-point conversion. And you mentioned before we got on here, Crick Santamore, defensive coordinator, dialed it up.
Yeah.
Take me through what you guys were looking for. And then obviously some of you guys making some big plays, stopping them just short of the goal line.
Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of plays that we felt like we could see, and Coach Santamore had to make that decision really quick. I mean, they didn't hesitate. Sycamore's a really well coached, disciplined football team. They kind of had an idea of what they wanted to do, obviously right away, and send it in. And he made the great call. And then those guys, Musa made the initial contact, and then Alex Ocean and Keaton Chawler both got in on the action right before the goal line. And obviously you saw the reaction of our kids. I mean, just the excitement and the energy that they brought. And obviously you feel bad for Sycamore because there was no losers on the field that night. They're a really good program, a really good football team. I think they're going to win a ton of games. But it was just a pretty cool moment for those guys to, have to be on the field all night long defensively. And then in that last moment, really to step up and make a huge play. That was fun. That was a really fun night.
It's funny, Coach, because in a former life I did TV. I don't know if you knew that, and we always show these highlights of offense. Yeah, right. We did the offensive guys get on love, and you look at that game, and I mean, you guys gave up 14 points going into overtime, and the defense played good all evening.
Correct.
So for them to kind of seal the deal had to be apropos, I guess, if it means they get the job done. And you love to see it for those guys as well.
Big time. And really, we felt like they played well enough last week really to give us a chance to win, and they had Sycamore scored on a short field when we dropped a punt. They had another short field later in the fourth quarter on a botched kickoff return. And so they made big stops when we needed to. And they never, there was never any finger pointing. There was never any hey, we need you guys to start doing your part here at any point soon. They just kept battling. They just kept battling. They kept a positive attitude. They knew that if they kept getting stops, eventually we'd figure something out and things would start clicking. And, to their credit and our kids' credit offensively, it did. And, but those guys defensively, that was such a physical high school football game. And for our guys to step up to that challenge, and they were challenged all week about how physical this game was going to be. To finish it that way, I think we made it even more special because of how much they were challenged throughout the course of the week.
It was a home opener, and those are always special, especially being so far away in game one. It's not like you were just down the road. So there's that energy and excitement. And I joked a little bit about it, but we've been on, you've talked about it on here. It looks like even that video that you sent me, from above, it just, Mike, it looks completely different than what it looks. I mean, you talk about a facelift. Talk about that, because I know it's something that you're proud of, because the aesthetics of the program kind of fit where the program's been.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And just the atmosphere on Friday, it felt very different than what it's been the last, 9 years, 8 years, however long I've been here. But it was just the crowd was a little more energized. Obviously, everything looks nice, which is always, you're appreciative of those things. You just are. I know we are. I know our kids are super appreciative of our field because we haven't had anything like that, So when you don't have something, it was just like when we first got our weight room, and the PE center that's gorgeous. You don't really know what you didn't have until you have it. And then when you do, and it's new and it's fresh, I mean, you're just so thankful. And honestly, it's something for us every day. Even to this day, our coaches will walk out on that field for practice and be like, man, this is so nice. It's just so nice. And Friday night was incredible. I mean, with all the little kids running around, the kids at the park, obviously Wharton in the background, the lights, coming off. When the track gets finished, it's going to give it even more pop to it. I mean, it's just a beautiful environment. And I'm telling you, our kids do appreciate it. They do. Our coaches appreciate it. Our entire program is beyond thankful to those board members that saw what this vision could be and decided, our kids are important. They deserve something nice, just like everybody else. And they did it, and I think the best is yet to come. I do think there's some other projects down the line from a baseball and softball standpoint and some other things that, again, those kids deserve nice things just like everybody else. And our kids have worked for it and they've done the right things. And I think there'll be a special appreciation because, the kids in our school are pretty outstanding and they understand the sacrifices and that it takes to get things like that. So it's a big deal, and we're really proud of the way our district has stepped up in that way.
Mike Morrissey joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, I want to talk about next week for a second, and then I got to talk to you about the Fighting Illini, because people are yelling because I do too much Iowa stuff. I do too much, and Illinois is really good, and you got a guy that's helping big time. So we'll get to that in a second. But you're 1-1 on the season, and you've already felt like maybe you've been through a season. I mean, with the 2 games, the battles, the late game stuff, one went your way, one didn't, and you're like, okay, I need a breather. Oh, well, now I got to go to Sterling, right? That's what's next? Kind of talk about that, because the I know the excitement and it was awesome, but it does stink that you have to turn the page quickly, because that wily old John Schlemmer, you really dials up some good stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling's on that same level. They're really well coached. They're always going to be very disciplined. Their kids are tough. They're scrappy. We even said, like, in our film session day, I mean, they play pretty fearless. Like, they just go, and it's cool. Like, obviously, we want to challenge our guys the first 2 weeks. That's always been the goal, since I've been here, is like, we do want to challenge them. We want to kind of see where we're at early on and put our kids in really tough situations that they have to persevere through. And then hoping that they come together as a team more, in those situations. And traveling down to Missouri was a great experience, a bonding experience for sure. But more than anything, like, we were in a fight. Defensively, we played really well. Offensively, we didn't finish, and then you kind of flip it where, like, okay, we saw our defense again kind of step up, do some great things. And then offensively, we were able to finish this week. And you can enjoy it for Friday night. You can enjoy it even for part of Saturday. Yeah. But the reality is, like, you have no choice but to, especially getting into conference play, but to start preparing for the next opponent. And you have to. And you can't sit there and say, oh, well, we just beat Sycamore and they're really good, so that's, we're going to be fine. We're not going to be fine if we don't prepare the right way. Like, you're just not. The teams in our conference are too well coached, and they know you, and obviously they kind of know how to attack you and different things like that, where, especially Coach Schlemmer, like, you're not going to get away with being, having a bad week of practice. You're not going to get away with, like, not bringing energy to practice this week because, you want a close game. Like, you have to bring it. You have no choice. So our guys got that message today, and they were good. They were attentive. They were locked in. I felt like we had a good practice overall. So, now we just got to build on day 2 tomorrow.
I don't want to I'm not like trying to get into the big 6 of, like, this team looked good, this team looked bad, all that kind of stuff. But it does kind of reset this week when it comes to conference play. Kind of talk about that, because you can literally, there's sometimes you can go, oh, that's a good win but that didn't look good. And then the next week it's completely opposite. It's the same way with NFL football. Yeah, my Lions lost this week, but they're still going to win the Super Bowl. It's one game. So kind of talk about, I mean, this is when it matters. This is the exciting stuff. And it is not that you didn't play big games already, but doesn't it go up a couple notches when you get into conference play?
Well, first of all, you sounded like a Bears fan a second ago. I'm going to let that go.
I know.
Okay, it's not a big deal. My Cardinals are 1-0, so all is good in the world. Yep. So, yes, I mean, there is a reset for sure. And, like, you can see who teams played, non-conference, and it's great, it's fine. But the reality is everybody knows each other pretty well. And that's the hard part when you start to prepare for conference stuff, is things that maybe hadn't worked or did work in previous years. They're going to bring all that stuff back. They're going to put it all back on the table and say, like, hey, we know we had success against Moline doing X, Y, and Z. And so we're going to bring this back, whether it be offensively or defensively. And maybe they have not seen that in the first 2 games. So, like, now you have to prepare for something that you may not even see, but your own paranoia from previous years says, oh yeah, they're going to run this again. Or, oh, I know they're going to come out and do some of this. They may not do it at all, but, like, you are almost overly preparing and like overloading your kids with information that they may not even have to really be prepared for. But that's just kind of the stuff that you've seen over the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, that you're like, well, yeah, they may come out and do this. And really, when you get into conference play, I think every team really believes they got a shot. I do. And especially this year, we've talked about that a lot in the preseason. I think every team feels like they could be competitive in conference play. And I think that's what makes it a unique season in the Big Six, is because it's probably true. I mean, even, Quincy's looked good in film that I've seen. Geneseo looked good last week on film that I've seen. Like, everybody does some good things. And I think they're just going to carry that over and try to roll that confidence over to the next week. Just like Sterling. Sterling blew out their opponent last week. they played really well, and it doesn't matter who their opponent is.
Yeah.
Those kids believe and their confidence is up. So you have to do your part to try to prepare your team the best you can to head to Sterling and be competitive.
So you mentioned Quincy and Geneseo and Sterling. You didn't mention UT and Rock. Make notes out there, fans, because this
You're going to be fine.
I know. I'm just kidding. I want to talk to you about the Illini. and I remember when Matthew Bailey committed down there. And you're a Hawkeye fan, correct?
So my dad played football at Iowa. So I grew up, getting press box seats at Iowa, going to Iowa games religiously. And I'll tell you this, my 7-year-old son, if you asked him who his least favorite team is, he will tell you the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Wow.
We went to the Iowa-Illinois game at Iowa a couple years ago. And Bailey wasn't even playing. He was hurt. He wasn't playing. And Iowa won in the last, few minutes, whatever. And that was it. He was heartbroken. Wow. He walked out of that. So even to this day, my dad is like, oh, you like Iowa? We're like, dude, your grandpa played at Iowa. He's like, I don't care. Matthew Bailey plays for Illinois. That's all that matters.
That's parenting. And you got to be a parent and say, like, you got to, it's like, I'm not talking Iowa, Illinois, but I tell my wife when we start having kids, I'm like, my kids don't have a choice. Like, they're going to like the teams I like because misery loves company. Oh, yeah. And that's why they all love the Lions. Sure. And when they lose and get embarrassed, we can cope and go get Chinese food together and all that kind of stuff. But I remember when Matthew committed, and I know that you were so excited for him, for the Illini. They got Cole Rusk down there too, ranked 9th in the country. And here I am, the pregame host for the Hawkeye Radio Network, and I'm like on my phone, like watching the game. I texted Cole afterwards, and I'm like, man, I'm like flipping between Iowa and Illinois just so I can watch you score your touchdown. It is cool for Quad Cityans, whether you're an Iowa fan or an Illinois fan, Iowa State fan, whatever. You got a Moline kid on the defensive side of the football and a Rock Island kid on the offensive side of the football representing the Quad Cities and making big plays on Saturday.
Oh my gosh. It just gives you so much to be proud of. And Cole is a great kid. Like, I've gone down to watch practice. I've taken my son down to watch practice. Yeah. He comes right over. He says hello. Like, there is no like Rock Island Moline stuff when you get down there because they're both a part of the Illini. Like they love each other. They're great teammates. They only want what's best for Illinois football at that point. They may have a side bet later on, this month. I don't know, but that's their business. And like, it's exciting to see, especially this last weekend where they both had significant big plays that were impactful in the game. And you just knew it was going to happen, especially with Cole. Like, coming off the injuries is hard, but you could see it in spring ball. Like, he was starting to kind of get his feet underneath him. And then you could see it in the fall practice. Like, okay, he's moving well. He catches everything in sight. Like, he's back to, kind of the form that you expected him to be. And then for him to make that play, that was big time. That was such a great catch. And then for Bailey to, have his impact like he does defensively to force a fumble and recover a fumble. Obviously as a Moline guy in our community, he is the golden boy. And I don't mean that in like he can do no wrong. I just mean like, we're so freaking proud of everything that he does on and off the field that it just means so much to everybody. It's incredible.
Both Cole and Matthew Bailey have been at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. I digress. When you look at Matthew,
I didn't know if that was going to come up tonight.
And you look at Matthew, it always does. When you look at Matthew, and I think I was talking with Ked Prince last week, and he's a grown man. Like, you remember him, and he was always athletic and all that. But like, you look at him now, and he looks like a guy that's ready to play on Sundays eventually. Kind of talk about what you see as his head coach and the development that he's had down in Champaign over these years.
He has always been so intensely focused on whatever it takes to be successful. And he's always willing to do literally whatever it takes and to listen to the people that he feels has the best, meaning their strength staff, meaning their coaching staff. Like, if they tell him something, he's going to buy into that 100%. And he may ask questions because he's super analytical. So he's going to want to know the why all the time and the how and all that stuff. Like, he's going to want in-depth answers. But then he's like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. And when he left Moline, he was 190 pounds, 185 pounds maybe. And he's still, you could see every muscle fiber in his body when he ran. Like, he was a pretty cut up kid. But when he showed up this summer, and he's got his cutoff, and I mean, every freaking muscle is popping out. It's like, wow, he's a man. Like he looks like a grown man, and he's still that kind-hearted, fun-natured, always smile on his face type of kid. But when the lights are on, and when the focus has to be there for a practice or for a lifting session or whatever it may be, game day, he just turns the switch on. He understands like what it takes to have that focus to be successful, and he studies. He puts a ton of time into that stuff. Like, it's not just a kid that goes out there and says, oh, I'm super physically gifted, I'm just going to go and do this. He's worked for everything that he's got, everything. And he's always done that. He's always been that way. And he'll put the extra mileage in, and he'll do whatever it takes. He's a great note taker. He's been a great note taker since he was a high school player, as far as being just detailed with all that stuff. And, to see him physically how he is now, and to be on the field in the Big Ten and to be on a top 10 football team in the country, I'd say if you told him he was going to be able to do that, when he was in high school and had a bunch of FCS offers and that stuff, but nobody was really, banging down his door from a FBS, standpoint, he probably would have said that's a long shot maybe. But I think his goal was always to get to that level, and he never kind of swayed from that, and always believed that he was going to do it, even despite the injury his senior year. And that makes it even more special that he's able to accomplish this and be a part of such a great program that's being built up into something really special.
Yeah. Mike Morrissey joining us. Before I let you go, perseverance with him too, because like he's been through it. You mentioned the senior year injury, and he's had those along the way, and, and he continues to persevere and battle and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to Illinois football, you're a football guy. From the outside looking in, and maybe from the inside looking in, because talk about what Brett Bielema has done with that program. Because as a coach, like you just have, it's hard, Mike. It's hard to change culture, and I got my guy here, Dan Campbell. I know they lost, but like culture's a word that's thrown around so loosely. But they lost to Iowa like 66-0 like 5 years ago or something like that. Yeah. And now he's the 9th best team in the country. Just as a coach, what do you see from what they've done and what he's done as a coach?
Well, I mean, he's done it his way, and I think that goes a long way in general, just when you're doing anything. Like, if you start to try to imitate somebody else or do it in a way that's maybe not genuinely your way, kids see through that. They understand, like, this is like, he's faking this thing. And you're not going to get that with Coach Bielema. I mean, he is who he is. He genuinely loves those kids. He genuinely cares about those kids. He builds connections with their family, and wants to know how they're doing on and off the field. And he's done it the right way. I mean, he does. He's done everything that he said from a recruiting standpoint in the state of Illinois, or a connection standpoint with high school coaches. He's done it. Like, he didn't just give the lip service. He's lived it. He's done it. And it makes you want to be able to send kids his way, or have like a kid that's good enough to play for him, because you know how he's going to treat them. He's going to do it right. And he does the same thing with their staff, or their support staff, or their strength staff. Like, those guys genuinely love coming to practice, going to be a part of it, being in the facility with each other. I'm very lucky. My brother-in-law is a strength and conditioning coach on the football team, and he loves his job. He genuinely loves being around the people that he's with every single day. And that, when you start creating something like that, where the guy from the top down genuinely cares about you and wants to treat you right and will do anything for you, you reciprocate those feelings, and you're willing to give a little bit more yourself, or give up a little bit more yourself, to see the team be successful, because the guy at the top does the same exact thing every single day. And he's done it. He's lived it by example. He's lived up to everything that he said he would. And, from my perspective and my experience with him, he's the real deal. And I'd tell you this, in a heartbeat, I'd send my son to go play for him, because he's that kind of guy.
No, absolutely. Coach, I appreciate it. You mentioned Cole and Matthew. Were you advocating people gamble on high school football? Is that what you were? When you
never.
No, you weren't doing that. Okay,
I would never insinuate that. They might be doing it. I don't know. I'm saying it could happen. I don't know what's happening.
I totally get it. Hey, I appreciate you doing this. I miss you on Friday nights. I'll run into you one of these Fridays here real soon.
I know, man. You got to get to Browning. You got to come out and do one at Browning Field.
Yeah, I think I've been taking my show on the road. So we've been at PV and Geneseo. I'm gonna get there.
And it's awesome. I'm jealous. Jealous.
Do you guys host?
We've not had that yet.
Do you guys host Rock Island?
We do. We do host Rock Island. We host Rock Island end of September.
That might be the winner. That might be the winner. So
There we
it
go.
depends. It depends if we can work an agreement with, like, I'll come to your school with my awesome show if you just show some support from my father who's passed away and play a little golf. Deal? Deal?
That's a deal.
All right.
That's a deal.
Hey, man, I appreciate
That's
you.
a
Good luck
deal.
this week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt. You're the best, man. Appreciate
All right.
it.
That is the one and only Mike Morrissey joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Obviously, I want to talk about Moline and that finish, and Grant's call is awesome. I've known Grant for a long time, and that's great stuff from QC Sportnet. But also to talk a little about Matthew Bailey and localize what the Illini are doing right now. I mean, we talk a lot of Hawkeyes on here. I get it. Anger is on all the time. He was on earlier, all that kind of stuff. But Illinois football is really good. We'll talk more about them this week. Jim Madsen will be on later in the week to kind of talk about what's next. And I should mention with Illinois, they now have a home game or a road game against Indiana that's going to be a night game on NBC. And that's going to be a really big game. So a lot of big games coming up for the Illini later on this season. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. It was a special Monday night on the pitch in over at United Township, a historic one as well. Brodie King, a senior at United Township, becomes UT's all-time leading scorer, hat trick in the process, and he passes up his coach, who was the old all-time leading scorer. By the way, that guy, that's his dad too. And they're both joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Brodie King and Mooch King joining me right now. Guys, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. Dad, I'll start with you. It had to have been a fun, special night. Kind of take me through this whole thought process coming in, because you had the record. I mean, you like to be the record holder, but if somebody's going to pass it up, it's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, it was a very special moment for obviously for Brodie and for our family. We going into this season, I really avoided talking about it with Brodie. I wasn't really making him aware of how close he was. I expected him to surpass it, considering where he was at the start of the season. But we spend so much time focusing on our team concept and it being a team sport. And, you know, Brodie always makes fun of me because I always use the phrase, the name on the front's more important than the name on the back. And so we really avoid stressing individual performance. But in a case like this, obviously it's too hard to ignore. And once the word got out, it spread pretty quickly. And we had a lot of family in town from across the country. My sister drove in from Pittsburgh. My brother was in from DC. Wow. So it turned into a pretty special night, not only for him, but the family. And most importantly, the team got another win and are off to a great start.
All right, Brodie, let's get the truth. Dad says he's trying not for you to know about this. When did you know that like this was possible? And obviously you're a team player, taking nothing away from the team aspect, but when did you know yourself? Was it in the offseason? Was it last year? Was it as a freshman? Were you gunning from dad for the get-go? Like, when did you start realizing what could happen?
I started realizing my junior year, so last year at the end of the year, I realized that I was only about 15 goals away. But I feel like once in the off season started and I started this year, I completely forgot about it. And the game before this, I scored and I got congratulated, but I had no idea what for. And then the day before yesterday, I seen a post about one more goal, and I was like, one more goal for what? And then finally he explained it to me, and I was like, this is crazy. I didn't think I'd be here this close already. Just wasn't thinking about it, and now here I am, the leading goal scorer. It's just crazy to me.
No, absolutely. Brodie, what was that moment like? Obviously, so I'm talking with Scott Harding. By the way, he's a pretty good athletic director, taking nothing away from Bam, of course. He was awesome, but Scott doing a great job over at UT. And I'm like, well, yeah, he's got to get the record. He's like, I think he will. What was it like for you going in? Maybe you didn't know, or you started to know a little bit, but what was that moment like when the ball finds the back of the net and you become the school's all-time leading scorer?
It was great. All smiles, seeing my friends come to me, my teammates smiling, telling me great job. Like, it's just crazy seeing my family on the sideline. It was just a great moment and a moment that I'm never going to forget.
Dad, what goes through your mind as you see him take your record, and I'm pretty sure you're okay with giving it away?
Yeah, I was half tempted just to mess with him a little bit and not start him. So I didn't. But, yeah, it was good to just kind of get that monkey off your back, and now we can kind of focus on the rest of the season and our real goals as a team. But just to see it go in and see his teammates rush him and see them all celebrate, one of the things that we had mentioned during our ceremony last night was this isn't just a Brodie King success story. He doesn't get here without the players that surrounded him the last 3 years, and especially going into this season. So, I mean, the team's 35-10 over the last 2.5 years. You don't get there with just one player. So to see the whole team rush him, and they kind of lifted him up on their shoulders at the end of the game, it was cool to just see that everybody was celebrating that moment, not just Brodie and our family.
Did you share a moment with Brodie himself, whether it was when it happened, after the game? What was it like? I know coach and player, yes, but father and son, that had to be special as well.
Yeah, I right before kickoff, I kind of pulled him out of the warm-up and just had him close to me and told him that, to keep his focus and stay focused on the prize, and this is just another game, but to also live in the moment, and if it happened, really enjoy it. And I was just trying to gauge his stress level, and he was locked in and focused and ready to go. And he'll even admit it. He kind of started a little slow, and eventually kind of got that nerves off his back and really took off. And once he put that first one in, I knew more were going to be coming. But yeah, it's a good balancing act that I have to do, being the head coach and being the dad. So I really try to always push the dad to the back burner. But last night was a night that I just couldn't do anymore. So we shared a pretty special moment before the game.
I got to ask you and follow up, because you said stay in the moment. Were you able to stay in the moment, and not just as a coach, but as a dad? I know there's a balancing act there, and I know several, guys that are coaches and parents at the same time, and it is a balancing act. Did you make sure you stayed in the moment, maybe not just as a coach, but as a dad as well?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing that helped was we were able to stop the game. Like you said, Mr. Harding has done a great job so far with the things he's done at UT, and he was adamant about making sure we stopped the game. I was thinking we were going to wait till the end of the game to really just kind of have a separate moment that wouldn't be a distraction. And he was like, absolutely not. He goes, you're stopping the game. I've already reached out to the Orion AD, and we having my entire family. So my wife's family was there. Our family was there. My siblings had come in town. His cousins were all there. Friends were there. My brother Scott, he's actually our announcer. So him reading the ceremony when it happened, that was kind of when it really hit me the most, when I was holding the game ball that I was passing to him. It was a pretty cool passing of the torch ceremony from me to him. I think that was my live in the moment, to where even though there were a lot of people around, at that moment it felt like it was just me and Brodie.
Absolutely. Joined by Brodie and Mooch King right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Brodie, you're greedy. You didn't just get one, you got three. And Coach Dad kind of talked about how maybe a slower start, but once you got going, did you feel, I don't want to say a weight lifted from you, I don't want to get too dramatic, but it seems like, heck, when you got that one, you might as well get a couple more. A hat trick as well. Kind of just talk about maybe afterwards and playing a little more loose after you got that one that everybody was waiting for.
Yeah, after I got that first one, I felt a lot of the nerves just easily slowed on down, and I was like, it's broken. Like, I can just relax. It's just another soccer game. So I just went out there, did my thing with my team, and got two more.
Absolutely. Dad, you played and won a state championship, 99, and the all-time leading scorer for a while until that kid next to you took it from you. When did you know that Brodie? Like, obviously every dad wants their kid to kind of follow in their footsteps and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure it wasn't like you had a ball in the crib saying start kicking. When did you realize that he had the same passion for the sport of soccer that you did?
Sure. I mean, every success story from a high school team or a club team starts when they're young. And when we started to get him involved into sports, we could see that soccer was clearly his cup of tea. And we, from our successes my senior year, we knew that to build a successful team and program, you've got to have multiple classes around you that are successful. And what we were most excited about was the class that was 1 year older than his, our class, the class below us. We knew that once this group got to UT, that it would be a potential for a long-term success story going into the high school program. And when you have, like I said, when you have successful teams, you're inevitably going to have those individuals that have great performances and statistical records that have potential of being broken. But this was definitely something from an early age.
No, 100%. Brodie, when did you kind of know that your old man was really, really good at soccer? Did you know if I was him, I'd have like my state tournament stuff and trophies all over the place. When did you know that he was kind of pretty dang good at the sport of soccer?
I think my freshman year of high school is when I realized that this guy was really good. I mean, I knew he went to UIC, but I didn't understand the game of soccer at that point, that Division I level. And I feel like when I got to that school and seen the trophies and his name everywhere and the records he set, and I was like, dang, this guy really was good. He wasn't just hyping himself up. So that's when I think I realized that this guy actually was great.
That's awesome. Dads can't hype themselves up. Ask my own kids. Sometimes it's not legit. It's legit with your dad as well. Joined by the Kings right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I know you guys got to go a couple more before I do let you go. Coach, you mentioned this was a special moment. You wanted to live in the moment, but you were the all-time leading scorer. You also won a state championship. I know there's more things to do this year and more success to be had. And you like your group. You like what you have, 7-1 in the season, undefeated in the Western Big Six. What do you like about this team and what could be, if they kind of keep their nose to the grindstone, a pretty special fall?
Yeah, one of the biggest success stories, I think, with all of our teams, especially last year to this year, it's our depth and the holes. Every year that we've lost, the last 3 years, we've lost a big chunk of seniors and role players. But it's our depth in the program has continued to just allow for that next man up. And we have a strong core that we've had for the last 3 years. I think defensively, we've given up very few goals from last year to this year, and I expect the same in the future. We're real strong in the back. We're strong at our goaltending position, and we most definitely can score a lot of goals. And I'm expecting to have probably 3 to 4 players that are going to be in double digits from a goal scoring standpoint, and I don't expect us to give up very many goals in conference. So it's a great balance between our defensive players, our defensive mindset, all the way up to our offensive threats that we have. So. Even if Brodie's off his game a little bit, I know that there's plenty of players around him that can pick it up.
Brodie, you followed in Dad's footsteps with the scoring The winning would be fun too. What's the senior year like for you, and how would you like to end it? Not just scoring wise, but on the pitch and success wise as well.
I mean, obviously, winning conference would be one, and we've tried for the last 2 years to get that regional title, and we were unsuccessful. But I think this year, with the team we have and the seniors we have and how deep we are, I think that the goal this year is regional title and try to get more after that, but focus on conference and regionals for sure, because I really do think like we have the talent on the team to do it. So I think that regional title is going to come home with us this year.
All right, Brodie, I know you're going to be nice, but and you will be probably for a little bit, but make sure you let him know. Like if you want hey, can you get the all-time leading scorer something to drink, Dad? Like toss that in every once in a while. Like make sure Dad knows that that's your record now and he's second place. Hey, fantastic job, guys. Appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the way. Brodie, congratulations. Dad, congratulations. And we'll talk to you guys again with some more soccer success, hopefully in the future as well. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Those are the Kings, Mitch and Brodie. Of course, Brodie, the all-time leading scorer now at United Township. That was a lot of fun. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo right here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Are you looking for the Quad Cities' best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Of course, didn't have a show yesterday. If anybody heard my voice over the weekend, and probably too many people did, it was going fast. So Sunday and into yesterday, getting it back, feeling a lot better today, which is a good thing. So, and of course, I had opinions on NFL Sunday, and one of them, of course, my lovely Lions, got beat pretty bad up in Lambeau. So, of course, I got the people saying to me, oh, you didn't do a show because, no, it had nothing to do with the Lions losing. And also, now the week one stuff is in the books. So, let's talk NFL, maybe overreactions, underreactions, all those kind of things with my good friend John Marx. Always love talking sports with Johnny, and we're going to start. I know people want me to talk about the Lions, and I will, but the Bears last night, and it was the open of a new era, and everyone thinks I'm a Bears hater. Yeah, Johnny, I don't, and it's week one, and so the overreactions are wild and crazy. But I just kept telling people that it wasn't as simple of a fix as it was just get a guy. Yeah. It's going to take time regardless. Your thoughts on what you saw? I'll get mine in a second, but what did you see last night in Chicago?
I was really disappointed with the quarterback play. And you'll understand this, Maddie, but one of the things that really irritates me is quarterback cadence. And, Ben Johnson's not going to put up with they happened 1,000 times last year. They would flinch, they would jump. This was all going to change under him. This is a quarterback's fault. You're not going to blame a dumb lineman here. This is a quarterback cadence that caused them to jump 5 times last night, maybe 6. That's guys that are used to something, and then he comes in and changes whatever their cadence is. And I don't think the quarterback mastered it. I think it's his problem. Those were important penalties that cost him at an inopportune time. And I don't think Caleb Williams down the stretch, what did he go 10 for 10. 25 since starting 10 for 10? He was 11 for 25 since starting 10 for 10. So Matt, it all falls back on the quarterback.
Yeah, and here's my whole thoughts of Caleb Williams, and everyone thinks, oh, you just hate him because he's a Bear. I haven't seen. Yes, I can pull highlights, and that's why they're called highlights, and watch incredible gifted ability, like the play he made to Romadunze early in the game. Escaping down the sidelines, arm strength, putting in a spot, absolutely awesome. But you have to be consistent. And I've watched Ben Johnson for 4 years in Detroit. I know what he wants. And here's the things I said right when he got hired. If the Bears think they're going to go in there and throw the ball all over the place, they're not. They're going to want to run the football. And Johnny, they did for a little while in the third quarter. And they kind of went away from it later, but that's what he wants to do. And then also he preaches completions. Be accurate, read a defense, get the ball out on time, and Caleb struggled with that last year. Can it be fixed? Can he learn it? Maybe, but that struggled last night as well. The first, what do they script, Johnny? You're a football coach. They script that first drive, 15. They script the first 15, and he looked great for the first 15. And then after that, he didn't look confident. He didn't look like he knew he wanted to go with the football. And then lastly, Johnny, there's plays that he makes, there's throws that I feel like a number one pick should hit all the time. The deep ball to DJ Moore, you can't miss that throw. And there's too many misses like that. I'm not trying to be hard on him early, and the verdict's still out. It's week 1, but boy, it didn't look like he's comfortable yet with Ben Johnson, and Ben didn't look comfortable with him. Ben's body language, his frustration shows very fast. I've seen it for years, and I think there was some frustration on his end as well. Your thoughts?
Matty, did you notice the fourth down play where they ran the four route, which is a skinny post or slant, whatever you want to call it in the vernacular, but and he threw the ball too far out in front. Yeah. He didn't have his feet set to throw the football. That's basic stuff. Has he been gifted enough to get away with those things at the college level? Yes, he was. But you can't do that in the NFL, and he got caught with it being flat-footed. I don't think he gets into his throws, and that's just from watching film of him. He gets happy feet. Of course, that's a byproduct of running for your life for the last year. But he didn't make some throws, and he hurt his football team. The other part of that is, Matt, don't hang your running game on DeAndre Swift. Yeah. No matter how better your offensive line might be, don't hang it on somebody like that.
And my DeAndre Swift thing is the Lions had him. They could have kept him, and they got rid of him. And then the Eagles had him. And they could have kept him, and they got rid of him. And I use the term Lions as a good franchise, but for the last 3 years they've been really good. If those guys and the Eagles, they don't get any better besides maybe Kansas City. If those guys don't want to do, then probably there's a reason why. And I'll do the same thing with Jonah Jackson, the new guard. Lions got rid of him, let him walk. He went to LA for a year, and they got rid of him for nothing after paying him a lot of money. If good franchises don't want somebody, there's probably got to be a reason why. And I'm not DeAndre Swift is adequate, and he's fine. But again, I'm watching the Lions on Sunday, and I'm frustrated. And I'm getting my phone. It's like I'm the only Lions fan anybody knows. And here's the funny part, Johnny. I don't text anybody when the Lions kick the crap out of the Bears or the Packers or the Vikings. I don't text anybody, but that's beyond that. So I get those, and I'm a little concerned. And then I watch last night, and I just literally the first thing that pops in my mind is Ben needs Ben needs the Lions, and the Lions need Ben. It's probably a little A and a little B where they're not going to be together, but they're better off together and separate. There's probably hurdles for both sides, correct?
Absolutely, and I don't think the Lions. I don't want to throw it back on one person, but when your up and down quarterback through most of his career, with all due respect, isn't elite, they're going to struggle. And even with the weapons that they have out on the wings and St. Brown and et cetera, their running game needs to be a little bit better than it was. They need to defend a little bit better than what they did. But to your point a second ago, Matty, with your phone blowing up, look, I made a living bashing the Chicago Cubs for 35 years. And I back when email was new, I think it was 2003, got 1,200 of them one day from fans, from people telling me, well, now the Cubs are going to the World Series. Of course, Steve Bartman came in and did his thing, which really wasn't Bartman's fault. But it's okay if people want to pick up the phone and give you a hard time. That's a beautiful thing, and let it roll. And now you've finally, after 100 years, you finally got a break to be able to have something to be excited about. They need to defend better, especially on the back end. The Lions do. The Bears were without two really key defensive backs last night and a linebacker. So if and when they get that right, Matt, maybe we'll see that. But here's a rookie quarterback, and I know he he watched a year. Here's a rookie quarterback that threw a pick six and could have. This kills me to say something nice about a Michigan man, but this is a guy who threw a pick six and ran to the sidelines and said, "Hey, it's all right. We're going to take care of business. Where else would you rather be than right here?" So I thought he was more poised down the stretch than the guy that was the number one pick overall.
Johnny, J.J. McCarthy showed more improvement from quarter 1 to quarter 4 than Caleb Williams showed all year last year. And you want that moment. You want that, wow, my guy went out there and made plays. And I joked with some buddies that I was texting with, and not in a mean way. I was like, it was the beginning of the fourth quarter. They missed the field goal. And I said, they can play another 4 quarters. I don't know if the Vikings can score 14 more points. And they did, and they credit to Jay looked completely different. That's one of those things when a quarterback is young, I just want to see it ever so often. And what I mean by that, I don't need to see a crazy throw. I don't need to see a highlight. Highlights don't get me like, oh, that's going to be a guy. It's the moments that JJ had yesterday where he made big plays and he led his team to victory. That's more of a moment than any crazy sideline throw is ever going to be. Real quick about the Lions. I'll tell people this, and this is with Ben too, so Bears fans can take some solace in this maybe. 2 years ago, the Lions played the Chiefs. They scored 14 points in their opener. Last year, they played the Rams, and they scored 20 points in their opener. And this year, they played the Packers and scored 17. So 14, 20, and 17. I don't love the way – I get why you don't play your guys in the preseason. I understand protecting them and staying healthy. But I think in the league in general, it looks this way. Johnny, there was some bad football at times all over the place. And what I mean by bad football is not like, I mean missed assignments. I missed blocks. I mean, stuff that my dumbass, I can sit there on the couch and go, well, he didn't pick up his guy. Like, I mean, if I can see it, then like it's so I don't love that. I know the Bears played their starters a lot more than the Lions did in the preseason, but I have an issue with that. And then the biggest week was the Lions got rolling again. Their issues are up front. They lost Frank Ragnow, and they've shuffled that interior line, and they've lived with that offensive line. As quickly as they can gel is as quickly as they can play well and get back at it. I'm not ready to burn that thing down. They've won 27 games in the last 2 years. They lost a game. It's okay. They lost a game on the road. Back to the Bears for a second. Ben Johnson's going to try to be Dan Campbell. And I don't mean that in a wannabe type of way, but that's just the culture that he's from. He wants to go for it and be aggressive. Couple quick things with him, decision-making wise. 4th and 3 early in the game, 7-3, kick a field goal, you're up 10-3. Yep. But Johnny, if they convert and Caleb makes a throw and they go down and score 7, Bears fans today are like, this is why the Lions were what the Lions were. Yes, you have to. I don't hate the call. I get people are saying get the points, all that kind of stuff. That's what you guys get. Like, Bears fans, this is Ben Johnson, and he spent 3 years with Dan Campbell, and you're going to have to. The 4th down stuff is going to happen, and if you execute, you're going to like it. If you don't execute, you're not going to like it. Your thoughts?
Here's the other what the Lions average at 20 points a game the last 2 years. Well, if you convert those 2 field goals on 4th down and not let your ego get in the way, the Bears scored 30 points last night and they win the football game. Yeah. So again, it goes back to it's not so much the Riverboat Gambler in Ben Johnson. It's the offensive genius ego that gets in the way, and but you also think you have a quarterback that can get you the 3 yards or the 2 yards in those situations. You couldn't run the ball, but you could also throw that one for route with that inside slant, and then that's a gimme right there that he didn't make. The other part that I wanted to tell you, Matty, and there's something to this. The J.J. McCarthy, since his high school seasons, I know that's really bad stat, is 69-3. That's a winner.
Yeah.
Okay, what's Caleb Williams been as at USC and with the Bears?
Underwhelming record-wise at USC.
Well, that's why Jay Cutler.
Underwhelming.
Everybody talks about Jay Cutler. Well, what did he win at Vanderbilt before he got to the league?
Yeah.
And then they brought him in from Denver. They didn't win in Denver either. He didn't win. You get winners. And to your point again with your Lions, take a deep breath. Dan Campbell, he's still a coach, isn't he?
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Okay.
I think,
everything's good.
They ain't going 15-2, and this week's a big week. Gosh, it's. We'll talk about a storyline. Now you get Ben going back to Detroit next week at Ford Field, and it's going to be amazing. Last one on Ben. I was sitting there too late at night, and my oldest Charlie was up there with me, and even both of us were like, "Well, you can kick this ball out of bounds. I mean, you got to kick this ball out of bounds." And then Ben afterwards said the plan was to kick the ball out of bounds. I'm a Lions fan. I watch a lot of Bears football. I tell myself if I'm going to criticize and talk about the Bears, I sure as hell better watch the Bears. So even when Bears and Lions play at the same time, I'm DVRing the Bears and I'm checking them out later just so that I can have a thought process of what I'm going to say. I knew that Cairo Santos has a weak leg and might not be able to kick it out of the back of the the end zone. So you get the ball at the 35 on a touchback, you kick it out of bounds just off to the sideline, you get it at the 40. It's a 5-yard difference. I thought that was bad coaching. And I thought Connell outcoached him. Like, especially
Absolutely.
in the second half. Your thoughts on the kick afterwards? I know the thought process was there, but shame on you for not knowing that your kicker can't kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Well, to that, okay, if you can't kick it out of the back of the end zone, you can't hit a 47 hopper down the middle where your elite athletes can come cover that. Come on. That's where it all starts is if you can't kick the ball out of the end zone, A, get a new kicker, B, kick the ball. You've watched enough football, man. You don't understand what that hard squib is, right? I'll take that extra. You don't know what the ball's going to do when it starts to bounce. Kick that ball hard to the right and then let your guys cover.
Yeah.
Don't kick it out of bounds and give them an automatic someplace where they're going to go down. That was the biggest, maybe the most turning point in the football game.
Yeah, kick the ball out of bounds and save those 2 seconds, save the time, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Johnny, before I let you go, Bears fans, and I get it. I'm a Lions fan that it's doom and gloom, and I get it. Overreactions for week 1. And I can sit there and bash away and tell you things I didn't like about the Bears. I do think Ben Johnson's a genius when it comes – I'm not going to sit here and bash him. He gave me two of the best offensive years I'm ever going to get to watch. But there are overreactions to week 1 in every sport. And you kind of agree? Like, Bears fans, I know it's a hard schedule. I get it. I know all that kind of stuff. I hope you're 0-2. Don't get me wrong. I hope you're 0-2 and get your asses kicked next week. But it's still week 1.
Yep. Pump the brakes. Take a deep breath. Again, it goes back to get the cadence fixed between your quarterback and your lineman. You cannot have those 5 penalties that will cost you and hurt you against really good football teams, and it did last night. So that's the biggest issue I would take care of. Your back end, get everybody healthy, and get your linebacking core healthy, and then go from there and just work on your quarterback being able to not get in a hurry, step up and throw the football. I know he ran for his life a season ago. That's different now. Step up, plant the feet, throw the football, have a little confidence, and if the opportunity arises, take off and run. He's really good at that too. But that shouldn't be the first option though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there were some pluses, but man, this is now year 2, and I know in the NFL it used to be giving me plenty of time, but you have a rookie quarterback from Minnesota and you have Michael Penix playing well, and you have guys up and down that draft class playing well. Guys, you got to start getting better. My last thing is if it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to find a guy to call plays and figure it out. And hopefully the Lions got the right one. If they don't, they got to go find it. Remember the Eagles, they didn't find it right away when they got done with it. They went and found a different one. Than it is to find an all-pro quarterback and weapons and all that kind of stuff. Players still play the game. And I think the Lions have the players. Maybe need the guy to guide them. Now the Bears Need to work on getting those players up there. Caleb is just a fascinating subject to me, and it's going to be a fascinating one to talk about the entire season. Johnny, as always, I appreciate you. I'll see you tonight at North Scott. Yep. We're going to call a little volleyball. PV North Scott Volleyball live on MC22. I'll see you in a little bit.
Appreciate you, pal.
Thanks, brother. John Marx, the one and only, and as I always say, thank God there's only one Johnny. Talking a little NFL football because it was a fascinating week, and I go back to it. Hey, send them back. Like, if Bears fans are mad at Ben Johnson this morning, we'll take them. We'll take them back. Do-overs, all that kind of stuff. We'll just go on our way. So we got a lot more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Thursday here in the Quad Cities. Or, excuse me, a Tuesday here in the Quad Cities. I wish it was Thursday. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Give me 1 second. Let me find my actual. There I am. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. It's been a fun show. Everybody from Pat Anger to Mike Morrissey to the Kings. How fun was that? And then kind of wrapping up the NFL week number 1 with John Marx just a short time ago. Before we let you go, a cool new segment we're going to do each and every week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo is looking back at the week that was in high school football and picking out a drive of the week, brought to you by Skiles Driving School, a great sponsor here of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And when it comes to a drive of the week, this one was pretty easy to pick. We're going to go to Princeton. It was Rockridge and Princeton in a really good battle. Under 2 minutes to go, Rockridge gets it back. Tie ball game. Colin Schweigen with the great pass right here, finding Liam Steele for a 38-yard pickup, setting it up. First and goal at the 6. 2 plays later, Schweigen would find the end zone for the touchdown. Rockridge goes on the road and picks up a huge victory over the Tigers. It's a good one this week. Rockridge will take on Riverdale, both 2-0 in the season, out at Rockridge, just down the road for myself. I got to figure out where I'm going Friday, so that might be a location we look into as well. I want to give courtesy video-wise of V. Wilmington Productions. Did a great job shooting that game as well. So It is Rock Ridge and their game-winning drive, your Skiles driving school drive of the week. Really appreciate you guys for watching today's show. Like I mentioned, a lot of fun, tons of great guests. If you missed anything, head back, check it out. We'll be back at it another show tomorrow. On tomorrow, I'm pretty sure Jake Brend, probably Jim Madsen talking Illini, and we got our Nest guest segment tomorrow. We're gonna shoot that tonight at Hungry Hobo. Mark Nestler and myself bringing back Nest guests. Thank you for everyone that tuned in and I shouldn't say tuned in, but got their picks in. Great response for week number 1. We'll get you your winner tomorrow for the weekly prize, and we'll also tell you who won between Ness and I, and get ready for week number 2 of Nest guests. All of that will hit the road on Friday and much more. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. We will see you guys back here tomorrow.